Hey, good morning, guys. It's Gary here. Just wanted to hop on really quick this early. It's pretty early this morning, and I wanted to come on and because I was thinking about something, and I'm like, this is actually probably a good idea for a video lesson. Just to be able to come on and actually tell you guys. I was actually, it's kind of weird. I actually was, just thinking about it. Just sitting here looking at the markets and getting ready for the day. And even though it's pretty early, I know that for sure. This will be up all day for you guys to view. But something that I was sitting here thinking about, and I'm sitting here, I'm watching a couple of YouTube videos, just a couple of things that I watch in the morning, just as a pure entertainment, just to kind of pass time. It's usually, usually it's actually baseball highlights. Baseball's my favorite sport, just in case you guys didn't know that. So I watch baseball highlights from the previous day, but I was sitting here thinking about how baseball players have to adapt like even more than like a trader or than people like traders have to adapt pretty often, but baseball players, they have to get, it's like each team that they play is a different market to trade. You have a different pitcher. Your pitcher is like when you're at bat is like your market. And the pitcher will give you pitches. He'll pitch to you, he'll pitch to you, he'll pitch to you, and if it's not the right pitch, you don't swing, right? And it's just like the market. If it's not the right trade, then you don't trade it. And when you finally get that pitch that's perfect, that's in your sweet spot, you take that swing and you get a nice hit, maybe a single, maybe a double, maybe a triple, maybe even a home run, depending on how hard you swing. Which that's kind of an analogy towards however much risk management you have. So if you're up in your risk management, you're doubling it. Sometimes if you're that confident in a trade, if it's your perfect pitch, so called, you increase your hit power or you increase your position size, and then boom, maybe you knock it out of the park. But they have tons of different pitchers and teams that they play, so they adapt each and every time to the pitcher. They have to go and they have to do something called film, and they watch and they look and they study every frickin' player on that team that they're playing, and it goes to show that trading isn't going to be the only career, or isn't the only career, and there's many more than just professional baseball and trading that do this. But you always have to be adapting in the markets. Every day you have to come on and you have to see, okay, what is the market giving me, and what am I willing to do here? What am I looking to do here as a trader? What do I want to do? With that being said, each and every one of these pairs is like a different team with a different pitcher. And sometimes each separate team has different starting pitchers. You get on different days, you get different reactions, and you don't really know what to do. And what you have to do is you have to study. You have to study these pairs. USD Jappy has a tendency to, completely freaking range. Like, it produces these insane daily ranges lately, or has been lately. These ranges right here where it's just straight down or straight up, and then another straight down retracement, and then, we're starting to get that kind of sideways motion. Last time we had that here, we broke out. Last time we had it here, we broke out. And it's sort of like film in a way, and, that's something that you have to keep doing is you have to keep adapting in the markets, because you will fail if you do not adapt and you don't learn lessons. If there's a pattern that you've been trading, maybe some of you are some pretty good traders here, which I assume that there are, and you have a pattern that you're trading, or maybe, and I've had to do this before, there's something that you've been trading all the time, and it's been working almost every day. Or every time you've used it, it's actually been working out pretty well. Oh, excuse me. And then, the next 3 or 4 times it stops to work, and you're like, okay, I've never had a losing streak with this pattern before like this. Oh, excuse me, guys. And then, that's when you have to start adapting, and you have to start realizing, okay, this is not working anymore. And going back to that baseball analogy, it's like, okay, the way that I'm doing this at the plate, the way that I'm choking up on the bat, the way that I'm standing up on the plate, something that I'm doing here is not working with any of these pitchers that I have. My best example I have of me adapting, or this isn't my best example, but just a good example of recently, it was summer of 2015, okay? That's back here. That's back in this area. And the Euro USD was actually pretty volatile. It had some nice daily ranges, even though it was still in between that 115 and that 104.60 area on the weekly. But anyways, I mean, with that being said, I was trading a Bollinger Band strategy that involved the 20 SMA and the 50 SMA, and usually at London daybreak. Okay, and no, I know that sounds similar, but London day and by London daybreak, I mean the London Open. It was around the London Open, and it depends. Like right on that, and I would use 15-minute candles, and because every time at Asian session, the Euro USD would go into a very, very sideways pattern. It would go sideways. I mean, very sideways. I mean, we're talking like, is this the brush? We're talking like, like this side. Like, I mean, it's very, very sideways. Okay. I mean, and you had that range, and this is on a 15-minute time frame, remember? And then it would break out right at London Open between 15 and 30 minutes at the Open, and a Bollinger Band would open with it nicely, and the 20 SMA and the 50 SMA would cross over, and that was working almost every time and every day. Okay, and I used it more at London session, just because it was a very easy determinable range that there was, but with Asian session, and it was easier to use. Even though I did have to stay up pretty late to do it, it was worth it. I mean, I didn't have to wake up for the market open on the New York Open, but and it actually stopped working within that same summer. It was working all the time, right? It was I mean, it was working. Like I guarantee you. I mean, this thing was working every single day. I mean, with the occasional loss, but like it was like 1 or 2 losses, and then I'd go on another 6 or 8 trade winning streak, and that's just a perfect example of like, okay, this is not working anymore. I need to figure out like something else, and that was just a quick little day trade strategy. So it wasn't hard to wipe it off the slate. Something that will always work is price action, but you have to adapt to every price point. So we adapted differently here, we acted differently up here, and we're adapting with those price moves. Okay, so I mean, the people that really make it in life, in my opinion, are the people that have literally gone through failures. Literally use failure as their path to success. Okay, I like to think of failure as the tuition you pay to the college of life. Okay, failure is the tuition you're going to pay to the college of life. You can go pay some real tuition and learn some learn a couple things depending on what you want to do and depending on what you want to learn. But the real tuition is the tuition of failure, and the tuition of failure is the tuition that you pay to the college of life. Okay, and you're going to continue to pay it. It's going to happen, really, no matter what. I mean, depending on wherever you are, depending on whatever you plan on doing. You can't get a job. Your job interviews aren't going right for some reason. You're going to have to change. You're going to have to learn from those lessons. And if you don't, as harsh as this seems, if you continue to make the same mistake over and over and over again without adapting, without changing something, or without analyzing your situation, I will consider you a loser until you somehow figure out a way to fix it. You will be a loser. I was a loser. I've been a loser 3 times over in the last year, and not necessarily a loser. I was always changing stuff, but with the company that we were starting and that I was starting, it just hasn't been quite right the last 3 times. So yes, we changed. We adapted to the market conditions. We adapted to the market of our our population, our market populace, and that's something that you have to do whether you're starting a business, whether you're or trading. And in this in our case, it's trading. It was 4 years, guys, before I really got a grasp of what I was looking for in the markets. 4 years, okay? And that's a decent amount of time to really even, that's every day coming on the charts, looking at the prices like this and saying, okay, I don't really know what's happening, but I'm just going to see what if I draw this here and I draw this here, I'm going to do this. And I was a loser for 4 years, okay? So never stop adapting, never stop learning. As soon as you stop learning, you will stop growing. That's my outlook. All right. Everybody have a fantastic day. I know I'm putting this up here early with that, but with that being said, everybody have a fantastic day, and I'll talk to you guys a little bit later. Thanks, guys.